All right, guys. RM Sports Radio here with some instant reaction from Game One of the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics have, let's say, stolen the game in San Francisco, 120 to 108, beating the Golden State Warriors, taking a 1-0 series lead. And this is the first time Golden State has even lost in the postseason, and this was not an easy job to do. First of all, Steph Curry comes out of his six threes in the first quarter, puts up 21 points, doesn't score anything in the second quarter, but then finishes the game with 34, and they still lose the game. Going into the fourth quarter of the game, the Celtics were up by 12 points, and yet they were outscored in the fourth quarter by 24 points by the Boston Celtics, and really led the game by Jaylen Brown having a big game, Marcus Smart having a big game, Derek White had a big game, and Al Horford hit 6 threes, the most threes he's ever hit in his career. I gotta look at the box score again. I can't remember how many threes were shot in this game. I know it was over 40 because I think we had like 23s in the first half. But this was a telling game. My takeaways from the game basically were, when you're Boston, you want to steal one. It doesn't matter if you steal the first or second one, but you just want to steal one on the road. We all know Golden State is a very hard place to play. No one's won there in the postseason. But also, I heard a lot of people saying how Golden State was kind of tired even in the first quarter, and they got more tired as the game went on. Them being an older group, of course, older guys. I mean, Iguodala played today. He's the oldest guy that can be on the court in this series. And to me, I think what happened is the Golden State Warriors realized they're not playing the Dallas Mavericks. Y'all know how much I am a Dallas Mavericks fan, but when you play the Mavericks, you really only guard Luka. You're doing that box of one. You worry about other guys maybe hitting shots, but really Luka's the only one that's really putting any pressure on your defense going to the hole. Maybe Brunson every now and then. But when you're playing these Boston Celtics, you got to deal with five guys on the court at one time, all going to put pressure on your defense. All five guys that can create shots, all five guys that are young and active, all five guys that can hit threes. And I think they just weren't prepared for that. At least they haven't seen much of that in the playoffs, especially from the last series that they have. I always felt like Boston as a team kind of took the toughest roads. They were kind of probably more seasoned for this whole matchup than we really thought. I mean, we all picked Golden State to win. We all thought Golden State would win the first game. But as you can see, I think that they've been tried and tested so much by going 7 games with Miami, going 7 games with Milwaukee, playing tougher basketball in these playoffs, and it showed in game one because they didn't get their head down. Even when it got rough out there and everyone's hitting threes and Otto Porter's hitting threes and Iguodala's hitting the three, they're going down and the lead's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They never gave up. They just stayed into the fight. He talked about Marcus Smart matching up, him being the defensive player of the year, matching up with Steph Curry. I thought that was fine. I thought Curry handled that pretty well. But what I really paid attention to was Andre Wiggins and Jaylen Brown's matchup. And that was a tough matchup. Brown got the best of him this time around, although Wiggins had a good game also. But those two are going to be critical because, trust me, Brown, people forget he went to Berkeley. So he's very, very at home playing in the Bay. And it showed tonight. He was aggressive. Even when Jason Tatum wasn't doing what he's supposed to do, he went, I think, 3 for 17, but did have, I think, 13 assists, I believe. He had double digit assists, 7 in the first half actually, and that's kind of what his coach talked about. It wanted him to play his game and be a part of it, even though he may not be scoring. And he didn't have to do a lot of scoring tonight because Al Horford stepped up, Smart stepped up, everybody stepped up. Really for the Celtics, they played with their back against the wall, and it worked out. I mean, they're used to that. I mean, they're just coming off of Game 7 in Miami. A tough game playing against another great set of superstars. So I think it was a wake-up call for the Warriors. If I'm them, I don't feel necessarily, we've been down before. This is kind of how the thing goes, but it is a wake-up call to let them know that, number one, you can't let off the gas. Number two, you playing a team that's a lot younger and more athletic than you. I mean, literally. I mean, you guys are great shooters. You guys are good, a good kind of all around unit team playing together for such a long time. Had the experience, but these Celtics are young, athletic. They're jumping out the gym. They're shooting jump shots. They're taking it to the hole. They're gonna put some pressure on you that you may not have seen, especially against Dallas in that Western Conference Finals. The thing I thought the mistake in terms of coaching that Steve Kerr made, in my opinion, was he didn't continue to play the younger guys. There was no Kuminga in the game. Moody wasn't in the game. I mean, these guys have gotten experience in Western Conference Finals. Gary Payton Jr. was able to play. He didn't play any minutes. It was a coach's decision not to play. But I thought that he should have used some of that youth on the court more to match up with the youth that they had. Because if you think about it, at the beginning of that fourth quarter, it wasn't like the normal stars that were like the Jaylen Browns and Jason Tatums that were leading the comeback. It was the role players. It was the Pritchards and all those guys kind of leading the comeback. Derek White. So I thought you could have matched that up with some of your young guys and maybe give yourself a little more advantage, or at least try to match the athleticism and age with some of the age that you have. So be interested to see if they make that adjustment for game two, playing some of the younger guys. I thought Iguodala coming back after such a long hiatus played too many minutes tonight. I think he played 12 minutes tonight. I thought that was just too many, honestly, for somebody just coming in. I mean, I know he's a veteran, but starting out in the NBA Finals when you've missed 20 games is tough. So I think that's one mistake that Steve Kerr made, was not going to his youth more. In terms of Boston and Udoka, I thought he did everything right. Play physical, make sure these guys had to play on both ends. He made sure Klay Thompson played defense and offense tonight. Same thing for Steph. Same thing for Draymond Green. Same thing for Jordan Poole, who I don't know what Jordan Poole was doing out there. He shot the worst three-pointer I've seen all season. I mean, he hit the shot clock, the top of the backboard. It just not his game at all. So we'll see. Game two is coming up, man, this weekend. So we'll find out kind of what adjustments are made. But Boston stole one, man. If you had money on Boston tonight, I mean, you won big. You know what I mean? But again, we'll see how the game shapes out. This is all about, one game doesn't win a series, but it's still important to win games. So Boston takes a 1-0 lead. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. We got Mavs Monday coming up, and we'll be back after game two. RF Sports Radio.